All right. What's going on, everyone? This is Zen from Zen World, and I hope you're having a great day. Shout out to Andrew Lemon. Sometimes I can't even tell when this thing is live, you know what I mean? It's like I'm like looking at it and it's like awkward, you know what I mean? So yeah, what's going on, team? I appreciate you guys coming to hang out for this new comic book day. Today is September. I can't believe we're in September already. I feel like it was Halloween like yesterday. So September 2nd, 2020. Let's see what pickups I got today. So I'm gonna do some bagging and boarding, and then later on while we're talking, I'm just gonna we're gonna talk about some theories for the future of like movies, for comic book movies, and things of that nature, and see kind of your input on what you think is gonna happen, right? So what's going on, Evan? So let's begin. What did I get from my comic book pickups this week? All right. But before we do that, time to drop that intro.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother.
All right, squad, we are back. All right, so in terms of my pickups for this week, first book that I got, and it's not the first book that I got, but it's the one that I'm showing you first, is Cable number number 3. And this is the Path to X of Swords. For me, this is the first kind of like Path to Swords because um, he was the first one to get one of these swords. What's going on, country boy? Shout out to everyone in the chat so far. Um, so I'm particularly excited to read this because this is definitely one of the lead ups for X of Swords, right? So I'm just gonna bag it and board it. You know what I mean? And then I'm gonna showcase it off one more time so you can see that sexiness. You know what I mean? In the bag and board. And you're probably saying like, Zen, are you gonna read it though? Since you're sealing it up? Absolutely, I am. Look at that. Look at that beauty. Mmm. Mmm. Comic ASMR. Looks good, right? Ah, man. All right, so the next book that I picked up on my list goes to I'm just looking at which order. I don't want to show you all my favorite hot pickups first, even though there's a lot hot pickups that I got. Next one is Alien, uh, from the Aliens movie, from the original screenplay, right? I'll show you a couple of like quick panels, just randomly open it. It's gonna be a spoiler for me too, right? So that you guys could see. All right. I don't really, I don't know what's going on in that panel, right? It just looks pretty rough for them. That's it. But I'm eager to read it. I'm into the Aliens movie and kind of that like horror and esque type of alien type combination. What's going on, Slim Comics and more? Appreciate you coming out to hang, team. Guys, don't forget to drop that like, right? If you're enjoying the content, right? Don't drop it if you're not, though. I'm not trying to force anyone. Here we go. Sorry for that glare action, but you know what I mean. Looks good, right? Looks good. Looks good. All right, next book. Just to recount. Yeah, the interior looks pretty good. What's going on? I collect a lot. Appreciate you. So these are the two pickups so far, right? I'm enjoying the Cable run for the Path to X to Swords. It's pretty good. I wasn't too sure how I felt about the young Cable, but he grew on me a little bit, He grew on me, and I'm like, all right, it's cool, it's cool. All right, young Cable, you did kill the old Cable, spoiler alert, but yeah. Yeah, Slim Comics and more. This was a big week. And I don't even see I went in there 7 minutes. 7 minutes in and out. But I'm pretty sure I did not get everything, or some things were sold out. So we'll see. We'll see. The next book that I got and was New Mutants number 12. Pow. And give you guys a quick preview panel. All right. I just opened it up to a random page, so spoilers, but the artwork looks pretty good. And yeah, I'm excited to read it. I'm feeling the New Mutants. Speaking of New Mutants, did any of you see the movie? I'm not going to the movie theaters in particular, but I'm gonna wait. You made your budget this week. I collect a lot. I my budget was 40 this week, and I went over by $1. Uh, Usually I knew this week was going to be big because usually my budget is 30, but I knew this was going to be a big week, so I said 40 is going to be my budget this week. But I still went over by $1. And I'm gonna tell you why I went over by $1. So one more time. So here it is. Boom. It's a cool cover. I have to read number 10, 11, and now 12, right? Haven't seen the movie, Evan? Yeah, I haven't seen the movie. I want to see the movie. Some people are bashing it, but I don't really care. I'm gonna see it, and I'm most likely. I'm probably. I know $1 close enough. I think I'm gonna enjoy it. Here's a lot of people didn't enjoy the Dark Phoenix movie, and I enjoyed it. I was like, what is everyone talking about? It wasn't that. It wasn't. No, it wasn't bad at all. I was about to say it wasn't that bad. It wasn't bad at all. I enjoyed that movie, and it had a really good soundtrack because it was Hans Zimmer who did the soundtrack, and could have been a lot better, absolutely. But was it as bad as what everyone made it seem to be? No. Um, that's why I don't go with trends. You have to do what you like, everyone. That's it. You rate it on your own. So, all right, this is what I have more books, right? I didn't get to the mainies, but this is what made me go over my budget. Sometimes when you go to the store, you're like, I don't really need that book, but I want it. So this is Marvel Tales featuring Captain Britain. Now, I'm not a high level Captain Britain fan, but I was like, you know what? Why not? You gotta live, treat yourself, right? So this one contains a whole lot of stories for Captain Britain, and I don't really know that much about Captain Britain and Excalibur themselves. I never really read. I know about the team and their exploits, but uh, never really read a comic book with Captain Britain and the rest of the Excalibur teams. So I'm eager to read it, and it made me go over my budget. uh, I I don't think theaters are open yet in New Jersey. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'm just not gonna go. I'm gonna wait for it to come on Amazon Prime, to be honest. I'm patient. I could wait a little bit longer. We waited long enough for New Mutants. The one movie I wanted to see was Tenant, though. But I gotta wait. I gotta wait. Safety is first. You know what I mean? Oh, you didn't get this one? Yeah, it was one of the ones I just saw it there, and I was like, it was like the Maestro, because when I went for the Maestro, uh, the tales, the Marvel tales from Maestro, I was like, I don't know anything about Maestro, so you know what? The new comic book was coming out, so I got it. All right, here we go. We're almost at the mainies. We're almost at the mainies. My main pickups for the week, but I'm gonna be honest with you all. I stopped reading Empire and just focused on watching like YouTubers that cover it. Yeah, for Empire. But I saw this Avengers Empire Fantastic Four variant cover, and I was like, "Ooh, baby, ooh, baby, this is definitely a throwback kind of cover." Here's a quick. Oh, I didn't do a quick preview. Let me just quick panel preview, right? Boom. It's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good. You know what I mean? I'm seeing the throwback kind of the alternative Fantastic Four with Wolverine and Spider-Man when they were doing some replacement, right? So pretty cool. I love this. I really like this cover. I like the shading and just just the throwback. You know what I mean? It reminds me of the Hanna-Barbera cartoon days on like Cartoon Network and before that. I didn't even notice this on the cover. I didn't even notice the Inhumans right here in the cut. Black Bolt's like, it's me, baby. And we have the rest of them, Karnag and Medusa. Oh wow, I see. Hold on, guys. Let me get a little closer. I did not see Black Panther, Submariner, and Silver Surfer when I first looked at the cover. I'm not too sure about these two at the bottom. Um, yeah. Oh, that's pretty cool. I like this cover. Um, it's pretty smooth. I said like it's like 100 times just now. All right, let's continue. Let's see. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Ooh, I didn't use my gloves today when. All right, just gotta be careful because this is a thick book. You know what I mean? 5.99. It's pretty expensive. They were wilding out this week. The first Immortal She-Hulk. Wow. Yeah, and I didn't let me clarify. I didn't stop reading Empire because I thought it was like a horrible story or anything. I stopped reading Empire because there were a couple other books that I really wanted to focus on. Uh and just like really read. And it happened to be a lot of the for the most part it happened to be the Empire X-Men tie-ins because I was following like mainly the X-Men books. So but I'm getting the story. I'm gonna get back into it. But I've been watching as like my like keeping up. I've been watching a lot of YouTubers cover it, right? Like Comics Explain and like Dope Spill and things of that nature, right? So, but this cover is, whew, sorry team. This I have to hold it at the side glare because it's looking good. Did I happen to get Black Widow? I did not get Black Widow, Evan. I didn't get Black Widow. I'm trying to remember if I saw it. There were a lot of books. Like this was a big week. It's your favorite cover this week. It's yeah, this was a big week. All right, team. Here we go. We're getting it. Let me now. We're getting into the my big pickups here. Okay, here we go. Big pickups. I got when they find them when they're dead by Al Ewing, and I don't know what to expect from this book at all. But I'm feeling Boom Studios. They're doing a lot of great things. Boom Studios. They came out with the Mega Man. It wasn't like the best book ever, but it was something brand new and fresh, right? The Power Rangers run. They own Power Rangers. They've been doing it for a long time, and they're doing it pretty well, right? So I'm not too sure what to think about this book, right? But let's see a quick preview. All right, that was a commercial page, aka advertisement. I like to say commercial page. Let's just look at the artwork real quick. All right. Let me see. Can you guys see? Yeah, there you go. All right. Not bad, right? Artwork looks pretty good. Is the story good though? We gotta find out. You got that? I collect said it. I got that one also. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what to expect from it. When only find them when we only find them when they're dead. Al Ewing, Simone, and all right, cool. All right. Uh, it's not an indie because it's from Boone Studios, but I feel like I call everything an indie if they're not from Marvel and DC and Image, which is not good. But yeah, I guess because I'm so used to reading from those, the three growing up, right? All right, here we go. Yeah, there you go. And let's take one more look. Get it from the side action. All right, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's like a model. Looks pretty good, right? All right, here we go. The next pickup I got, and then we're gonna get into the big three. The big three. The big three. Actually, there's four here, but I'm not. I got a new CGC, but I'm not gonna unbox that today. I'm gonna unbox it on another video. I gotta save for content. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because YouTube is greedy. The next book, sorry, I didn't even show it, is Wolverine. Wolverine number 5. I'm not particular. I'm kind of feeling the whole Dracula flow, right? In the vampire type universe. So let's look at a quick preview. Ba boom. Okay. Not bad. Not bad. Artwork is looking pretty good. Just so you guys can see a little quick preview. The artwork doesn't mean anything yet. I don't even know who that character, but I could tell they're vampires, right? I can't. You know what I'm waiting for? I'm waiting for Blade to just pop up and be like, Wolverine, let's do this. And that's it, right? And for them to fight each other like Wolverine versus Blade and then teaming up and realizing like, let's stop fighting because Dracula is going to kill us or something like that. But he may not pop up. And here's the thing. Let me go back, right? I don't know who's I don't know if anyone's been reading the Empire X-Men tie-ins and saw the Shadow King appear and then never appear again. I don't know. I have some theories about that I'm going to talk about a little bit later, right? Um, I'm not holding up that book at all, but because that was from previous weeks. But yeah, that cover reminds me of Jock Batman. Oh, I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I see. Nice, nice. All right, time for the big three. Now, a lot of people got this book, right? And it goes to Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 18. So, outlawed. Now, I feel a little bit bad. And here, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I got this book because of a trend, and I don't even know what the trend is. Why can anyone tell me in the chat why is everyone trying to pick up Miles Morales Spider-Man number 18? Because I went to my LCS. Shout out to Collector Cave, and they were like, I know it's a trendy book when it says you only could grab one. And I was like, all right, like for what? I mean, I like Miles Morales books just because, but why? Is it because of the clone thing? Well, hold on, let me not, because I didn't really do a random page just now. I was kind of like scrolling through a random page. Here we go. Up, that's as random as it's gonna get. So I seen a little bit of clone action going on, right? And I know the whole entire clone thing was a big thing for me in the 90s, right? Especially with Spider-Man. Realizing that a Spider-Man that we were following the whole time was just a clone. Actually, I was all right with it, but I know it was big in the comic book community. So I don't know. I'm gonna read it though. I'm gonna read it. I have to backtrack. I have to back read and see uh, because I last stopped off, and I've been collecting the Miles Morales books, but I stopped at, I think I stopped at about 12. 12, so yeah. Oh, one variant had baby sister on the cover, also the clone thing, I think. Okay, all right. Thanks for that clarification. I did hear about that. I was on Newbie Comics' stream yesterday, and they were talking about that cover when I popped in. All right, so here we go. My two main pickups for the week, team. Here we go. Goes to you. So, what's the significance with his baby sister? Is it because he never had a baby sister before, and she's popping up now? I'm not too sure. I'm just sorry, guys. I'm being a noob for this. The last two books that I got on my pickup, where before we get into the theories and talk, is Marvel Zombies Resurrection. Now, here's the thing, team. I've read this book. Not this book. I read the storyline. I'm kind of going through. Oh, I read the Marvel Zombies book that came out a couple months ago, and that's when there were they went into space, right? And they saw Galactus, and they thought Galactus was like coming to Earth, right? But it was a morbid, hollow version of Galactus, and there were a whole bunch of just zombified, beings in there, right? And I remember when the heroes went there, and they were all just getting dusted, right? In the sense of they were being turned, right? And I was really digging it. And then a whole bunch of things later happened, and then we never heard from it again, right? So I'm a little bit confused about what this is. Marvel Zombies Resurrection is. Is it following the same tale in the story that I remember, or is this some kind of continuation? But anyway, random page. The artwork looks pretty amazing. It looks grim. It looks gritty. It looks exactly what a zombie story should look like, but it's except with um, Marvel heroes, right? So I'm gonna see. I'm gonna see what's going on in this story. It's a really thick book, right? So this covers like quite a bit actually. Let me not turn. Hold on. And then next is Marvel Zombies Resurrection 2. Okay. I don't know. I'm excited for it. And it was a main pickup for me because I was super excited when I read that story. Not the original Marvel Zombies. I didn't read that. I read what I want to say is the Marvel Zombies Resurrection, but this is Marvel Zombies Resurrection. But it starts off very different than I remember. I wish I had the book close by because I'm gonna read that first and then hop into this. All right, time to bag and board it. Let's do this. So I don't know if anyone got the Marvel Zombies and wants to clarify that in particular, right? Jeez, I don't know. This bag and board is not holding these thick books. Got like 100 pages in there. Nah, it's not 100. I'm exaggerating, but still, I gotta be like super careful. Yeah, you see, I know I wasn't going crazy. I remember that. Oh, so it was a one shot. You're right. It wasn't like because they never, but it had the same title, so that's why I was confused when I saw number one, right? So I guess that would count as zero, so to speak. But I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. And I think it was because I was reading Deceased and I was like, oh snap, Marvel versus DC on like Marvel Zombies versus Deceased. And I enjoyed it because they were very different stories. And then seeing like Galactus like looking like a morbid hollow version, and all of the creatures, all of the beings in there were basically using him as like a ship, right? I felt kind of like a little bit disgusted, like how they were using the inner parts of his body as like a unit to transport themselves to Earth, right? I thought it was pretty cool, but just it made me feel like, right. When people are seeing like spiders and they get that, and you're like, oh, there's a spider on you, and then then they start like scratching themselves, and you're like, just kidding, but they're still kind of like, it kind of felt that without all of that action that I just did. All right, my main pickup for this week, right? All right, before I go on, I want you guys to guess. I've talked about this story and this writer before. Guess which book this is. Can you all guess? Let me see. Before I even show the book, can you all guess the last book? There's 6 of you in here, so come on. Let's get it together, guys. Let's see who can guess which book I got for the last pickup. The last pickup. Who can guess? I'm gonna wait. In the meantime, while you guys are thinking, time for that midtro.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see, brother. 友人の剣をくれ
All right. So I'm looking back in the chat. I collect a lot said Batman. Evan said Venom. Anyone else want to try? I'm gonna give you guys another 30 seconds. 30 seconds. I just want to see, if I know my content is pretty random sometimes, right? So, time's up. I collect a lot. You are absolutely correct. Tom Taylor is amazing. Tom Taylor. I love this book so much. I'm hyped because you got it right, and I'm hyped because this book is phenomenal. Deceased is everything to me. My two favorite books. Oh, it wasn't Thor. It wasn't Thor. I didn't see any Thors or anything. Was there a Thor that released this week? Because I didn't see anything. Because I would have definitely picked up a Thor. But Deceased is where it's at for me. Um, Deceased is just so good. I don't even want to show a random page, but I got to because this story is, woo. What was that? Mary Marvel? Oh man, that's it. That's it. That's all I could. Oh man, Dead Planet number three. Whew. All right. I'm sorry. I can't wait to read this book. I can't wait to see what I've been reading all of the Deceased tie-ins because they all kind of are not tie-ins. They're just kind of like what everyone was doing when, like for lack of better words, when things were hidden, were going to hell, right? And then the heroes came back. Oh, the third printing of Thor 5. Okay. I have like I don't know. I'm not getting all these different prints because they're trying to take my money. They're trying to take my money, and they might, but not this week. So these were the books, right? In particular, I'm super hyped. Let me open this back up. Sorry, team. I really like to see. I'm so invested in this story. I just wanted to turn this around so you guys could see. Did anyone see the Superman Man of Tomorrow? I saw it. I was gonna do a review on it. Oh, okay. Now I hear you. Yeah, Man of Tomorrow was pretty good. I enjoyed it. I don't know if you all saw it. For some reason, I thought it was gonna come out a little bit later, but just in terms of review for that, uh, I would definitely give it probably 8 out of 10. It was a sturdy Superman story, kind of old school, not kind of re-explaining everything, but then he meets Lobo. Lobo comes over because he's doing a bounty, right, for a Kryptonian, and he sees him and they fight, and Lobo uses this organic type of weapon that then bombards this janitor, right? It's a really cool dude, right? He's just a good person, right? And he falls under this really bad circumstance that Lobo used this organic weapon on Superman, but then it absorbed that gentleman and went into his body, and then because what that weapon was is it was basically like an organic type of EMP, right? That well, the opposite. It absorbs energy, right? And it turned him into Parasite, right? So if you don't know who the character Parasite is, he basically absorbs energy, right? And in the midst of everything, they meet Martian Manhunter, and Superman and Martian Manhunter have conversations, and Martian Manhunter kind of unlocks this what looks like a pyramid type of instrument that Clark had for a very long time since his birth. That basically shows him a history of who he is, right? So it's a cool story overall, right? And at some points, it was kind of like I felt bad for Parasite because he had a family, right? And he didn't choose this path. So that's why the story was good, right? Because it was like he was forced to be this absorbent type of entity, and he has to live, right? He has to consume, but he didn't really want to, right? So anyway, I'm ranting. No, I'm not ranting, but it was a really good story. So you all could, check it out. All right, here we go. So just to review, we have Deceased number three. Deceased, I mean Dead Planet number three. And I saw when I opened it up that uh, I saw Crypto, the dog, and if you read one of the tie-ins, you have Crypto teaming up with Bat Hound and also Detective Chimp, right? Is it Detective Chimp? Did I label that right? And it is a awesome story because Bat Hound and Detective Chimp are kind of going through this venture, and then there's a point where that Crypto comes, and remember they're in the deceased kind of world, and for some reason, because they're not sentient of sorts, right? The zombified doesn't really use them, right? So it's so good. Andrew, what's going on? It is so good. That story was so good, and I was like, they're just pets and animals, but they made it so intense, and they gave them the ability to communicate with each other, right? And Detective Chimp basically has that ability to communicate with other animals because he is an animal too, right? So it was so good. But anyway, here we go. Uh, we have Marble Zombies Resurrection. Love this cover too, right? This Johnson, Kirk, and Rosenberg. Next book on my list was Miles Morales, Spider-Man number 18. I won't be reading this for a while until I read 13 and up, right? Oh, you got that cover? Oh, okay. The Matina cover is amazing. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's yeah. I'm so hyped. And we have Wolverine. I'm digging the whole Wolverine story. Usually, I'm gonna be honest with you. Wolverine is not one of my favorite characters. He's not like whoa, I gotta get Wolverine, right? But I am because for me, he's always been a support character. So reading his own books is kind of like I'm kind of like pushing it, right? And I pushed it, got it, and I'm feeling it, right? I'm feeling the whole vampire-esque type stuff, right? I don't know why, but it's better than Twilight. Speaking of that, Robert Pattinson is not playing anymore. No one can't say anything to him anymore. Now, I'm going to be honest. I've been one of those people who was like, ugh. Edward, you were in Twilight and you're trying to be Batman? I know you're trying to evolve, right? Like a Pokemon, but I don't know if you could do it. I watched that trailer for the Batman and I felt like Robert Pattinson slapped me in my face and said, "Don't talk again," right? Uh, he is now Batman. The voice, perfect. It wasn't like overly deep. I'm not trying to play The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight trilogy was amazing, but I think we all know that, they try to deepen the pitch, and that's where we got a lot of jokes and memes and like Comedy Central skits and a whole bunch of different things, right? So the next book on my list that I got was, I have to go back to the title. We only find them when they're dead. Not too sure what to think about this book until I read it. So if it's really good, I'll do a review. If it's not, then I won't get number two. That's it, right? But for right now, I've been hearing a lot of good things about that book, right? So what else did I get? We got I'm gonna be honest with you, I only got this book for the cover and I'm happy about that. But we have Avengers Empire Fantastic Four, and I'm gonna check it out, right? Just a Rican and his comics. Shout out to you, my brother. How you doing? All right. The next book that put me over my $40 budget just for this week. It was just for this week. I wasn't gonna, it's again, like I said earlier, my budget is usually $30. Last week I went over it. This week it was $40 and I went over it by $1 because of because I saw eye candy. I'm not gonna lie, I saw eye candy team and I was like, Marvel Tales featuring Captain Britain. Oh hell yeah. And I got it. So I got it just to get to know more about the character because I've been doing some, going back and seeing some characters that I haven't been reading about, like Spawn, right? I know a lot about Spawn, so I picked up a couple of books for me and my son, like Spawn Origins, right? So if you check out my IG, you'll see I picked up a couple of books uh, for me and my son, and I also got an origin novel, not so much a comic book for Black Panther, like Origins of Black Panther. So me and my son are gonna I got two versions of everything, so me and my son could read it. The next book that I got was New Mutants, and that's it. New Mutants number 12. I'm digging the New Mutants. Not so much because of not because of the movie. I was always digging the New Mutants because of the cast of characters. In particular, uh, there's a couple of characters on that team that I'm just like, they're cool. They're really cool, right? Um, so yeah. The next book was Cable. Cable number Cable number 4. Are you guys digging Cable or even reading it? I'm or I think a better question is, are you all digging the young Cable, right? And for some of you who might be like, well, isn't that the same Cable? It's not. This is the younger Cable from the future who came back in time to kill the old Cable from the from the future. I miss the old Cable though. I wish, and I think they did show him in number 3, I believe. So I didn't read 3, so I have to go back and read 1, 2, and 3, and in particular because of this. It is the lead up for um, Path to Exo Swords. Now, why am I super invested in Exo Swords? Now, for me, it was a little bit. Oh, you didn't pick up Cable. Got you, got you. Uh, I'm invested in Exo Swords for a couple of reasons. First, because I love swords. I am a sword collector. I collect swords, right? One day I got to do a sword haul for you guys, because that's part of my geek culture, right? It's just doing the things that I love to do, right? And but going back to the Cable and going back to Exo Swords in particular, besides Deceased, my favorite book of, I guess, 2019 was Powers of 10 and House of X. Jonathan, I remember the build up that was happening for those books, right? And a lot of people were like, Hickman is a good writer. And I was like, well, he's a good writer, and I'm not too sure what he's going to do for the X-Men. Because for almost a decade, the X-Men were just not doing it for me at all. And they were are and will be and always will be my favorite team of all time, right? But the stories that were coming out didn't really pull me too much, right? And I collected some of them, but then I stopped. And then I read Powers of 10 and House of X. And I was like, and mind you, a lot of people don't like the turn of events, right? But for me, I gravitated towards it. It was one of the best X-Men stories of all time because it didn't just replace, it didn't just, here's the thing for me, it was original in the sense that it didn't just like redo a story. It used elements of old stories and then refreshed them, right? So some of the things were retcon, and the biggest one that I was just like, oh, hell, what the hell? Was when they acknowledged that Moira was a mutant. And I was like all these years of following these books, right? Yeah, House of Empowers got me back into X books. Me too. Me too. Because for a while I was just like, I had like X-Men Black and all of the others, and I have a lot of them on my wall, and I just they weren't doing it for me, and I read the book and I was like, damn, like you took years, no, decades of knowledge and flipped them upside down by just saying that Moira's a mutant and her ability is reincarnation. I made a video on it and I need to do another video because there were so many different videos about the explanation of her powers, and it is still mind-blowing that her powers are is not resurrection, is reincarnation. But just to kind of run down, right? Just because I want to talk about it, is that when her powers are merged, just like any other mutant, right? Upon puberty, for most mutants, right? If she dies a natural death, when she died a natural death, she reincarnated into her baby self and still retained all of the memories from her previous life. But that's just the surface of that ability, right? If you really go a little bit deeper into that ability, when she dies, everything in that current timeline resets with her. So that means that anyone who, whenever she dies, it resets with her, right? She's in a constant loop, right? Kind of like a Groundhog's Day, but a little bit more intense, so to speak, right? Because a lot of the theory stated like is like every timeline that she's going into an alternate timeline, but they kind of said no, that's not what's happening, right? So apparently we're on her 10th life. Correct me if I'm wrong in chat. We're on her 10th life, and some people are not too sure if this is their actual 10th life or this whole run is actually another life, right? But then we were faced with Dawn of X. And with Dawn of X, everyone, uh, it's not just as good as Powers in House, but what it does is it just kind of expands on the story. Now, during this whole entire time, we haven't seen Moira, and in the back of my head, I keep looking out for different things in the stories. That's why I collect all of them, just because I want to pay attention to what Hickman is doing because he's that type of writer, right? You have to pay attention to every single element in order to know the grand scheme of the story. Like, what the hell is Moira doing? What is she planning with Krakoa? And are the X-Men that we are following the X-Men because the whole resurrection protocols? I don't know, right? Um, you think she has a limited number of lives, and I hope so. I hope so. I hope that basically Destiny was saying that like if you do things right, you could live one more life, right? Which would be a time, which would be life 11, right, so to speak. And what I hope doesn't happen. Well, actually, I don't really care because if Hickman does it right, I wouldn't. It wouldn't really matter that at the end of X of Swords and all of this, that Moira might come to this grand plan and they might kill her and then everything resets again. That might make people like pissed off, right? For me, not so much because I'm going to tell you why. let me just kind of hold on. I'm gonna drop that mitro so that you guys don't have to wait. The mitro is the same thing as the intro, and I already played a mitro. Mitro 2, activate, go. One more time, activate, go.
You will never amount to anything. We shall see.
All right, we're bringing it back. All right, so this is the whole run, right? And there's more books because some of you who watch my old videos know I like top loaders, right? And all of that stuff, right? This is the only set of books where, in terms of powers and house, where I didn't really care about CGC or anything. I thoroughly just cared to collect these books because I felt like they impacted my love for the X-Men, right? And I felt like this was, just to do an extra haul, right? So we have powers number one. Boom. But the book that made me the most invested, team, and why I kind of got this book is House of X number three. Number three, because this book, team, I read this. This made me feel like the X-Men are back. And some of you who know, Cyclops is my favorite X-Men, if not one of my favorite superheroes. He's in the top three. He's actually my first, but I can't decide who's my first. So the three that I love, they're the three, right? My three favorite superheroes, and I've kind of explained why I love Cyclops because he just does the right things for the right reasons, and that's enough for me, right? And he's gone through trials and tribulations. It's not about his powers; it's about his leadership ability, and I love that virtue. Um, it's not the same thing for Captain America. It just seems like he's a little bit imperfect, but he's a Boy Scout, but still imperfect. I don't know. I just always loved Cyclops. And shout out to I forgot the actor who played the voice in the early '90s X-Men TV show. He did pass away. Appreciate him because the sounds and the dialogue is what I remember as a kid, right? So anyway, back to this book. The reason why I really love this book in particular is because it felt like a real X-Men story where they had a mission, right? Uh, to where the basically the what was it? The Mother Sentinel? Was it? It's not. I forgot what it's called. It's been a long time. I have to go back and read it. But basically, it was a story where they essentially, spoiler alert, in three, two, one, they died. They all died, and this was the first time they kind of showed a resurrection, right? For me, but that story was so amazing in the sense that I felt the peril that everyone was in. I felt it definitely when Nightcrawler was talking to Wolverine at the end of the book, and I forgot. Wolverine was talking to Nightcrawler, and he was basically like, do you think something of the sorts like, do you think there's a place for me in heaven? Something like that, right? Um, was it this book or is it the next book? I'm looking at the covers, right? Oh, it's basically the two books, right? It's number three and number four, because they're direct continuation of each other, right? But I felt the peril in these two books, and I was like, everyone was dying. Basically, Nightcrawler was hurt, right? And basically, the whole mission was basically to prevent the future events of Nimrod being born, right? Spoiler alert, he still was made, right? Um, but where the book ended, right? This is not even it. I don't know, guys. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm getting hyped and I can't even find what I'm hyped about. Cause this is powers. Powers in the house. They usually like confuse me a little bit. Uh, I still want to show you the scene, guys. Cause yeah, number four, where are you? I summon you. I summon you from the depths of imagination. Where are you? Can't even find it. Number five, number three, so many. Anyway, I'll find it at some point, guys. But in particular, the story was just phenomenal because Wolverine, you could see the the Mother Sentinel head, right? That's not the name of it. It's not called Mother Sentinel. It's another terminology that I lost off of the top of my head. And you see this epic panel where he's kind of like clawing at that while they're falling into the sun, right? And everyone died at that point. And it was like one of the stories that I was just like, Hickman, you did it. My man, you did it. You definitely did it. So this is when they were resurrected. Yeah, no, this has to be the book, team. This has to be the book. Unless they crossed over into powers, right? But it was just so intense. Overall, it was just so intense, and just seeing like them die, it felt like a real death. You know what I mean? And when that happened, I was just like, Hickman has done it. And now leading back into my, coming away from my rant on Powers and House, I just want to see what Hickman is going to do with Ten of Swords, because I want to see what Moira is scheming this whole entire time, and whether or not it is really Moira who's scheming, or is it another character who's scheming. Um, because there's a lot of threads in the story that make me wonder who's really being manipulated here. One of the things that Mystique is trying to do in particular is bring back Destiny, because Professor X and Moira and Magneto, well, mainly Moira, has stated that she doesn't want precogs in Krakoa. A precog is a person who has the mutant ability, right, or just has the ability to bring together a set of variables that tell a possible future, right? It's not a finite future, but usually it is. It comes to some kind of fruition, right? So, overall, I'm super hyped for a house, for the house series, and yeah, overall, I'm happy. I I I think so. I collect a lot. I think Destiny knows a whole lot, because I think I forgot which book it was, that when she was talking and she told Mystique years back that they're gonna try to do this. They're gonna try to keep you away from me, but when the time comes, bring me back, right? Basically, that's what she says to Destiny. And in my head, I was like, oh snap! Like Mystique is not gonna play, because she loves her, right? Mystique loves Destiny. That is her one and everything, right? Out of all the relationships I've seen Mystique in, I think that's the one that she's been most serious with, right? Uh, for Destiny. So I'm excited for Destiny to come back and just be like, you know, just be like, I'm here, mother. You know what I mean? Like, I'm excited to see her back and just be like, I'm gonna unravel all these plans. But I, I think why I'm excited is because when it's a good story when you keep thinking about it, right? I keep going back to the Powers in House, and I'm looking through these books, the new Dawn of X books with all the different ones, X Factor, X-Men, um, Hellions, X Factor, New Mutants, all of these books, and Cable, and I'm like, where are the hints, right, that are leading up to the main scheme from House and Powers of X, right? And is Professor X really Professor X? And how nefarious is he? Because he's doing a lot of things that we know that the Professor X that we knew would not do, but he is doing, right? Magneto, on the other hand, Magneto, they did Magneto right. He seems to be the mutant savior, just that badass that will come and be like, I'm here. And everyone's like, yeah, Magneto, right? It's kind of like, I think they're portraying his character right, but then I'm looking at other characters and I'm like, who's who's using who? Is Moira using Professor X or vice versa? And where is Moira this whole time? Are they keeping Moira captured, or is she the main villain who's actually just being the mastermind and everything? But going back, I did say I was going to mention this. Now in the X-Men, I think it's I forgot which one. It's X-Men number 4, the Empire arc, if I'm not mistaken. I'm probably totally wrong about that. Where all the psychics come together, right? At the end, I believe it's number 3. Again, the numerical values I'm probably wrong. we saw the Shadow King, but then we never saw him again. And you know the Shadow King is a character that you have to pay attention to, right? So I'm wondering if there's another layer of manipulation going, because the Shadow King is one of the things that Hickman will probably do is show the Shadow King, not show him again, and then show him again in the background of like a story. Because when I saw him, I was like, oh snap, Shadow King is going to be part of the team of mutants, psychic mutants, and then we never saw him again. So it makes me think like, what's going on with the Shadow King? Um, because him and Professor X are kind of like that hand in hand, right? Like arch enemies type of thing, right? So I'm just wondering what the Shadow King is doing. So I don't know. Let me know what you all think about that. Yeah, I'm just kind of ranting about like a lot of these stories, just because I'm just generally hyped, and this is what good comic books do for me, right? Same can be said for Deceased, right? But yeah. Uh, Now in the chat, I want to know if you all are, for those of you who went to get your pickups, what books did you get that I did not get? I would love to know that, because I remember when I was checking out I Collect and also Some Comics and More, when I was checking out your pickups, I was like, oh snap, I forgot X, Y, and Z, and then I had to go back. That's why last week I definitely went over my budget. I went over my budget in when I said it in the video, but then I checked out your pages and I was like, I got to go back again. So I went back the following to just kind of recover some items that needed to be had, for lack of better words, right? So yeah, let me know in the chat, which books did you all get, or maybe you guys are just chilling, right, and just listening to my voice while I'm ranting and talking about comic books. Next week, I am gonna do still gonna do a live stream again, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna use my StreamYard so that folks, if you guys want to pop in and just kind of like talk, you can. Or if you just want to stay in the chat, you can stay in the chat too. I just want to give that option to folks that want to like pop in and just talk, and we could like kind of show off our our hauls together, right? Because that's what it is. Is we're showing off, but we're not showing off in the sense of like I got this and you don't, right? We're showing off in the sense of we're bringing together that hype that we used to have when we were kids, right? When you'd go to the store and just compare and contrast what you have, kind of like the cards, right? And that's it. Luckily, we have an internet outlet where we don't have to just let those versions of excitement die. You know what I mean? At the end of the day. So some people hate the internet. I'm like, for what? Why do you hate the internet? Any tool can be used for evil and for good, right? A sword can be used to save and also to kill, right? Either way, it's how you use it. So you said Batman, you got Batman. Oh man, I didn't get Batman, but I saw it there. Uh, yeah, I'm trying to remember now why I didn't get Batman. No, I remember why. I think I'm right now. The only Batman story I'm kind of following right now is in particular is the Three Jokers. Right. I'm just gonna follow that for a little bit, and then I'll kind of see. One of the books that I wanted to follow in terms of like teams that I've been seeing all the time is what's the name of this book? Is Justice League Odyssey and Justice League Dark, both of those. And I really love Justice League Dark, especially when they introduce the Upside Down Man. I thought it was like creepy, and I thought it was like, oh, this is a dark story. I kind of wish they didn't really need to feel like they needed to have Wonder Woman, but it's okay, right? Because they try to make magical allegiances with her character, and I didn't feel like it was truly needed, but it's okay because it's a good story. It's still running. Odyssey is still running strong. I'm liking it. I'm digging that it. I haven't been reading it, but it has to be pretty good. There has to be a cohort of people who are really digging the Odyssey line and reading it. I ordered We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Yeah. Um, I'm excited to read it because I've heard a lot of great things about. about it. I don't know what to expect from the story, because I've been reading a lot of bland things in terms of like explanations, but I don't know enough about it to say like I'm like super hyped, and I don't know enough about it to say, well, I'm not hyped at all, right? I love the artwork. Artwork is beautiful, and all I'm hoping for is just a good story, right? Even if it's just like a short series, a good story is all I care about. You know what I mean? The artwork just has to be appeasing for me on some levels, right? Because even when I'm looking at this deceased artwork, it isn't like the artwork from um, the Green Lantern, the Far Sector book, right? Jamal Campbell, like his artwork is just like boom, like eye popping, right? It isn't like that, um, but the story and the artwork, which is really good, right? It's still good. Um, is is great, right? That's all I'm looking for. It's just a really good story, and that's it in terms of all these books, right? But I think sometimes what happens is a lot of writers they try to um, either hit a theme and they don't know how to fluidly go through it, right? But that could just be my perspective, right? Because here's the thing: there's a lot of books that I've read that other people have thought they were phenomenal. I'm like, like for example, a lot of people did not enjoy Silver Surfer Black storyline. I really loved it. I loved the artwork and it reminded me of Jack Kirby, and I loved the whole storyline, right? From from top to finish, right? I enjoyed it, and seeing Silver Surfer meet Ego the Living Planet when he was younger, right? A young planet, and them also, him having his like, I guess what would be his first communication with Galactus, right? Because Lifebringer One, which is the transport system that came to our dimension, was able to, get to Ego the Living Planet and then use him as kind of like a further incubation right source, right? So in order for Silver Surfer Black to go against what's his name again? I should remember, because um the god of the symbiotes. Why can't I remember the name? Because there's so much knowledge like passing through my head right now. No, no, the symbiote god, right? And I'm intrigued to see more about him. And it wasn't because the Venom stories didn't really get me so hyped for it. No, the Silver Surfer Black actually got me really hyped for Null um, coming. And now I'm super excited for the Venom stories, and I'm really digging the Venom stories right now. Uh, yeah, I wasn't oh, thank you, Slim Comics. I wasn't digging the whole Venom. Absolute Carnage was not. I did not enjoy it, team. I read it. I read the whole run. There was a lot of hype for it. I did not really enjoy it, except for like, yeah, I'm reading this. I'm reading this. But it wasn't until like after that I started to really get invested in Venom. Uh, Basically, not so much Venom, but Eddie. Eddie himself, right? His story started to really become something a little bit more than just like, oh, you're kind of like a side villain character slash anti-hero, right? For me, he's now his own like, he's always been, but for me, he's now his like own true character. He doesn't really feel like a Spider-Man type character to me. He does, but then he doesn't, right? I feel like he could do a lot of standalones now and not feel like he needs to have Spider-Man there, right? Uh, so I'm enjoying it, right? And him and his son, they just recently got transported to another dimension by the ultimate version of Reed Richards, right? I mean, it wasn't him. It wasn't the thinker that did it on purpose to them. But yeah, it's cool. I'm digging it a lot, team. So I know I'm kind of ranting and I'm going all over the place, but that's what happens when you love comic books and it's a new comic book day, right? You kind of reflect and you're just like, damn, It's good to be alive, right? So guys, I'm gonna wrap this up. I'm gonna I could talk all night, but I gotta eat. I gotta eat and I gotta read these books. So everyone, I if you haven't already dropped a like, drop a like if you enjoyed the content. Share the video with like-minded people, and yeah, next week I'm gonna do another comic book day. Hopefully, I could get some reviews on these books on my channel. A lot of them. Oh, before I leave, right? Are there any books that I showed you that you would really want me to do a edited rundown review video? Let me know. I'm gonna wait a little bit before I head out. Let me know, because I want to do. I just all of these look pretty hype, but I want to see which one I should really read more than once. That's what it usually means. Um, so let me know in the chat which books. And I know there's a delay because between when I'm saying it, you all might be receiving my messages, my my audio probably about 20 seconds later, right? So let me know which books would you like me to do a rundown and a review for. I did one on Mega Man last week, but I want to do multiple, right? So my video game people might be like, Zen, you betrayed us. And I might be like, it's only for the weekends. We can only find them. All right, got you. Yeah, I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it because it's last week I did a Boom Studios, and this week I'm gonna do a Boom Studios too, right? I'm gonna do another Boom Studios. I'm feeling Boom Studios. They're doing all right. They're doing all right. They're doing pretty good, right? All right, so I'm gonna wrap it up. I guess people are just listening and watching. They don't want to do a recommendation. They just want to see me push out that content, and I got you, right? I got you, right? Okay, both of you said, okay, some comics and iCollect said, we only find them when they're dead. All right, I'm gonna do a review, and I'm gonna make it spicy. And when I say I'm gonna make it spicy, I'm gonna have a whole lot of panels, a lot of editing, put in some sound effects, and of course, I'm gonna have my voice in there, right? So anyway, everyone, I had a great time chilling with you guys. Hank, come to see the video tomorrow because I'm gonna do. Uh, a review for this tomorrow, and then I'm going to continue along the way, right? So, with that being said, everyone, this is Zen from Zen World saying peace, love, and prosperity. If you're enjoying my content, once again, drop a like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I'll catch you all later for the next video. Be awesome to yourself and definitely be great to others, all right? Take care, everyone, and have a beautiful night, morning, good afternoon, evening, backflip. I don't know. Do something. Peace.